Hello. Hi, welcome back. So yeah, I had to take care of, put my daughter to sleep, but she's good now. And I'm ready to go back to finishing this layout. So we established the vines. They're bigger than, a normal vines would be, but we just don't want it to look muddy, so we ended up going with a bigger, chunkier vines. Right now I'm gonna add some of the shadows. You can see this clipping right here, and then I'm gonna add some highlight as well, because plants don't tend to be one shade of anything. They're multiple shades of that color that there are, green or violet or whatever color. So yeah, let's continue where we last left off. Thanks for, you know, the people that came back. The two people. Thank you guys. I really appreciate you. And yeah, I know you guys by name, so appreciate, supporting an artist like me. It means the world to me. Thanks. Okay, let's continue. I also noticed that the mic wasn't working on the previous upload. I don't know, for some reason, every time I have to adjust it and give it the correct mic, because I think I have more than one mic connected to this computer. So, as plants goes, they're usually layered, right? On top of each other, like chunks layered on top of chunks. So this is what we're doing. We're adding the separation between the different chunks of plant life, as they're basically rushing and spilling over each other. That's how I think of it. It's never just one solid layer. So yeah, I'm actually surprised this came out this way. Let's see if I can pull up what it looked like before. It's kind of depressing, honestly. Let's see. Version 1. So, okay. This is what I had before. You can see I had to finish every single building along the line, and also the background elements. I was gonna do like smoke from rockets being hit, because this is supposed to be like a war-torn environment, and I decided that was gonna take me forever. And plus, I didn't even like the way it was situated. Like, look at my detail I had to finish. I didn't like any of it, so I decided I'm gonna start over. This is for scale. No one's actually on top of the building. And I went ahead and did this, and it looks so much nicer. It brings your eye towards what you actually want to look, not just like a bunch of buildings randomly scattered. So too bad it took me 2 hours to figure that out, but I did. And this is the importance of not never, but don't tend to go with your first work, because you have a lot in there that you can produce that's even better. And unless you're happy with the first initial work or project or design that you make, I would recommend doing another take. Because sometimes it's the unexpected that turns out really good. Even this might not be the best, but for time's sake, I don't have time to make another one. So we're gonna go with this. The thing I struggle with the most is doing things rough. I tend to do things really clean, and I always end up finding out my mistake later. But you've developed so much time, you put so much effort into that one thing, and having to start over tend to be a lot more painful. So for any artists that are just starting out, I would say learn to work rough first, just to get the basic idea, and then you can go in and clean it up and make it look nice and pretty. Always easier to give advice and take your own advice, you know? I don't know why that is. Guess life isn't really black and white, but yeah. If I did take my own advice, I would probably have an easier time doing this. I just enjoy seeing what the product or what design would look like at the end. Like, I don't want to go through that boring step of, this is what it could look like, you know, and you barely can see it. You have to use a lot of imagination to guess where it's going. I like to just get there. And I think that's one of the reasons why. Maybe my impatience. Yeah. So I'm noticing the layers are too divided, like one piece at a time. I'm just gonna group them up again, so it kind of has like a flow to it. Yeah, there you go. Much better. Can't wait to add the graffiti to this on the tower. So this is not the main tower. This is a tower that, like, facing the main characters, and they're looking at it. So I got to do a scope, like a sniper scope as well, for this scene. Luckily, it's a series, so this particular scene shows up quite a bit. Their whole job is to watch, you know, through a tower as the soldiers, you know, talk about it, life and war and struggles they face. And also, they have to, I mean, I guess I could spoil it. I don't think anyone's gonna actually, I don't know. I hope people actually watch this, but it's a really good story about hope, about depression, just life stuff, and especially what's going on with so much wars nowadays. The people that actually suffer, civilians, and yeah. Okay, I think that's good. We're gonna move on to the top, and then I think once I add the highlight, it'll be a lot better. Oh, this is gonna be cool. Yeah, it's gonna look sick. Starting my own animation studio has been fun, difficult, but fun. Like, for example, the clients wrote me today some scenes I need to get back to them and adjust, so I need to send that email off, but I've been trying to do this. And yeah, so even if you end up working for yourself, you still have a boss somehow. It's always and even if your boss is not a person, say for instance, if I'm lucky enough to make this my job, my, you know, where enough people are watching this and they're into this, especially the film that I'm gonna release at the end of the month, and it gets millions of views, and YouTube making me a partner and actually get paid for it, then my boss become you guys, the audience. If I make something terrible, you guys not gonna watch it. So yeah, even starting at my own animation studio, I realized that very quickly. You are not your own boss. The only thing you get is the freedom of what time you work. You don't have to go to 9 to 5. You can do later on at night if it works out for you. That's like the most, I feel like, the beneficial. And you get to pay yourself any amount you want. But even then, if you have a lot of other artists on the team, you don't want to pay them crap, so you end up having to take a lower cut. Sometimes, a lot of the times actually, the other artists get paid way more than you because you want to keep them on the team, and you can take that hit. The minute you lower their salary, there's no no one's gonna agree to that, like, so they're just gonna leave. So stuff like that. And I guess I didn't really think about in the beginning, but I do enjoy it. It's fun just creating a project, getting a group of people, like superheroes basically. Everyone has their own ability. You get the rigger, you get the background artist, you get the everyone's really good at their job. It's you come together and do something that you normally wouldn't be able to do by yourself, in all honesty. And the way it turns out at the end, it looks so good. Just like, wow, we did that. And then you have to wait for the client to say, yes, it's okay for you to put on your portfolio. Otherwise you get in trouble, because then, yeah. I've been an artist for 15, I think about 15 years, close to 15 years. And can't believe I'm able to say that. That's insane. Only recently, the animation industry has gone to crap. But if I told myself that, you know how stoked I would have been as a kid? Like, hey, by the way, you get to become what you always wanted to be. That is sick. Like all those classes just drawing. I had a math class, so I couldn't see the board, and my parents didn't have money to buy glasses or whatever. And so I had to basically hear the teacher talk, and she would repeat whatever she wrote on the board, and I would write it down quickly and try to solve the problem right then and there, because I knew she was gonna pick on me to answer. So we ended up having like an unspoken agreement where I would, because I was doing so terrible in math class because I couldn't see the board, she let me draw on the side of the paper, and if she liked it, she'll give me an extra point. And I was like, this is definitely, no teacher's ever done that for me before. I always draw on the paper, even when I'm not supposed to. And sometimes you get carried away and you draw past what you're supposed to, like that on the actual written place, and you're like, oh crap, but it looks so cool, I don't want to erase it. And so I just leave it, and she started giving me marks. She like just randomly a day, she's one of my drawings, she was like, oh, plus 10. So I had 60, and then I ended up 70, and I was like, whoa. And that was the first, I think, besides my cousin, that was the first person in my life that actually encouraged me to pursue this art stuff. So, and I never told her I couldn't see the board. I think I was a very insecure, shy kid when I was young, because we were so poor, and I just felt less than. And so, kids don't open up their feelings with strangers or whatever. I barely opened up a feeling with my own parents, because all they ever did was say, oh, okay. So you just learn not to share. So eventually it was like that teacher is just, without saying anything, which was the incredible part, just giving me some extra points and allowing me to passed the class, even though I probably shouldn't have. I mean, the math I've never used in my entire life. And so she could have easily failed me. I don't know what I would have done. Probably I would have quit. Probably I would have got a GED or something. And maybe school's not for me type stuff. I probably wouldn't have gone to college to get a degree in art. So it's kind of weird that, your life is kind of take a turn just based on how people treat you. That's why I think it's very important to maybe encourage people, especially now when the industry is so bad, is AI is taking over. There's no work for artists. You could easily just tell them, oh, you know what, it's probably not a good time. But I think encouraging them to do what they love is worth it. I think they can find a way to do it and still be successful. I haven't figured it out yet. I have been successful in our art industry for a long time, but recently, things have taken a turn. But I think we should I think we're gonna get through this. All the artists out there, and even if you're not an artist, you probably notice it. Going on your favorite website and being bombarded by AI, and it's kind of I feel like a lot of people can kind of notice it now. Before it probably wasn't noticeable, but now you're like, oh, okay, I see. It's definitely AI. Not that I think I have a personal problem with it. I feel like you can't be against progress. You just can't. Like, you just gotta accept it. I'm pretty sure people that when Photoshop first came out, this program that I'm using right now, the traditional artists were probably, really upset, and they had to learn a new skill or new trade. You go from just paper to now you have to learn all this, and there's no tutorials. The thing is advancing every day almost, the technology and so you have to stay updated. And I feel like there's just what us artists have to do. The medium doesn't change. The medium changed, but the skill, you still need to have some sort of skill. You still need to practice. You can type in prompt all you want, but there's the beauty of it. There's so many garbage AI out there already that is making. Back then, when anyone would just type a prompt and then it would be amazing art, now it's not as amazing. So now even the AI people have to come up with something better, and you can't just post anything because it's very noticeable. So I don't know what the future looks like in terms of art, but I do know this: artists are not going anywhere. We're gonna find a way. Photographers, when they first came into the scene, painters were upset. I feel like maybe I just have to learn this whole AI thing, and obviously don't use it, but like maybe it can help make work faster, and maybe I can produce better stuff, or like not better stuff. Maybe I can make this episode in 1 month, because that's what this whole thing's about, is to see if I can make an entire episode of a series in 1 month. And I know it's a lot to do for anyone, but I think if I can do this and I can find shortcuts to do this, like maybe not putting so much detail in the background like I am doing right now, I can do this for a living. But if it's any less than a month, 30 days, I don't think the audience is going to wait that long for every episode to come out, like a month. Or then, it's not going to grow as fast, YouTube. So I got to do shorts. I got to do quick, interesting stuff that people can grab on and lash onto and just like move on. And maybe maybe it finds the right audience, and then they're like, oh, you know what, I don't want to move on, I want to see where this goes. And then we build, you know, a Discord where people can type in their stuff, and then we get an actual community that are very invested in the show, maybe have some ideas of their own, and then we end up creating something so cool, so unique. I think that'd be amazing. And then I can continue to provide for my family without having to sell my soul. Yeah. Wouldn't that be nice? I need to figure out how to promote more, like the Twitch. A lot of things I feel like that's holding me back is just not knowing, or maybe I'm getting old, but I don't want to be that old guy who can't progress. So I need to learn how to use Twitch, because I feel like that's where people probably watch more longer form videos. You know, they can watch 2 hours of someone playing a game. I feel like they would be able to watch 2 hours of someone painting or drawing. So I'm gonna have to do that, and hopefully I'm able to do both. I can stream both at the same time, so it doesn't take too much of my day, and I can continue doing this project. If this project turned out the way I want it to be, man, I think I put it in the Sundance, put it in like different festivals, and actually grow this business, this little studio that I start up. Here we go. See, it looks much nicer now. Got the little lime green in it. I might lower it down a bit, but we haven't even done the darker paths to it. So, okay, this is what it looked like before, just plain, right? And then you start adding depth to it. So the last thing, I think it's more of, where are these shadows coming from? And we'll use black. I don't know how to get rid of that sound, but please bear with me. I'm gonna Google it and figure it out. So we're gonna do this and try to get these shadow areas, and we're gonna lower it just to give more depth. And then here too, I feel like, yeah, maybe down here a little bit there. Maybe just on the bottom side of it. And also the vines itself, the stem, we haven't done that quite yet. I see it makes a big difference. It adds depth to it. Okay, under this layer of vine, I'm gonna folder this, and then I'm gonna add another layer underneath it, the stem. And that one, I think we'll continue with the dark theme. Maybe a little bit less dark. Okay, here we go. We want to show a path. This whole thing is just taken over because, I guess, maintenance. I mean, during the war, you know, you're not maintaining anything. Things are just falling to the wayside. And so it goes for this building. Life continues to take over in a different form of life, but nonetheless, pretend like it's going in these windows, trying to find a way out. Figure out what I'm gonna do with this. This thing here, this item is supposed to be a flag, but then I realized, oh, I gotta design a. I think I'm just gonna go with classic skulls and like wings. You know, when you think of the warhammer stuff, it's always like some skull with wings. Hopefully the like actual fans of it are like, this doesn't make any sense. But I'm gonna study more about Warhammer since I do like the idea of it. Maybe I can implement some backstory in here as well, since the style is heavily influenced by Warhammer, just like the way that the art looks. Yep, it adds value to it for sure. And then we're gonna clip that and add some lighter part to it. The parts that are in the sun get a quick little shine. Glistening in the sun, and it creates this cool looking vibrant. And while everything's black and white, this just kind of stands out, you know? Maybe the top layers. Definitely these. See if that made it better or worse. I think that made it better. Okay. The vines are done. And lastly, shadows for the vines. Or for everything. Just shadow. Just lower this a bit. Let's get to it. We have to keep in mind where the sun's directed in all times, so it makes sense. And then we don't add any shadow here because it's hanging off, right? I feel like I'm saying obvious things, but you know what I mean. Okay, let's check that out. Yep, looking good. Lines are good. Now this flag definitely needs a different tone than the building so it can stand out. I think I'm gonna make it darker. I'll add it here. Yeah, that works. I don't think I need to be that dramatic. Add shadows. Maybe. Yeah. Okay. Now we need to draw the actual symbol. I think what we mentioned was it's gonna be a skull and some sort of wings. Yikes. Haven't drawn a skull in a while. Maybe like super cartoony. Okay, let's get this wing correct. I wish I had more space. I wish I made the flag thicker. But I think this works. We'll see. For the Imperial or the Emperor. I'm just gonna copy paste and flip it over. BG building. So we'll call this background 1 and background 2, and then the sky. Yeah, let's get started on that. I wanted a darker gray. I feel like I'm gonna bring in that texture again. Might not even need it. I'll bring it in. Maybe a different texture. Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, I think it's turning out pretty good. Looks good. Okay, I'm gonna add some dark rooms as well. Let's do it on this layer. Because this is the background, it doesn't really matter of perspective and whatnot. Just gonna plop them around. Call it a day. Adjust the skew because it's starting to look weird, even if it's a background element. It's noticeable. So yeah, it's turning out pretty good. I think once we get the background 1, we're gonna do the background 2 and then the sky. Sorry about that noise. The sky here in the back. And I think we're done after that. Yeah, another 20 minutes or so. So yeah, 2 backgrounds a day, that's my goal. 30 days to make an entire episode. I'm gonna post it right here on YouTube. It's gonna be awesome. Hopefully I promote it well enough where people can find it. And then the algorithm will do its best. Yeah. Okay, I think we're done with that. I'm gonna copy paste the rest and drag it down, and hopefully that works with the perspective. Okay, we'll adjust it a little bit. There you go. Done's. Darker gray. One of Hugh, one of the subscribers, day 1 follower. You're saying darker gray, okay. We'll go darker gray then. And then we're gonna do another one further back. I still haven't decided if I want the sky to actually have color or if we want it to be just pure, you know, black and white, kind of like everything else. Honestly, I've been working in Photoshop for a while now, and I still don't know why these random guidelines, this orange thing here, shows up, even though I did not place it there on purpose. It behooves me, if I'm using that correctly. Bewilders me. You know, I did not use that correctly. It bewilders me. That's the word I'm looking for. Okay. Continue it with black and lower the opacity as we decide what the strength. I'm gonna animate some smoke in the back because this is a war-torn area and there's a lot of, you know, artillery and these missiles that strike into it. And so yeah, so I think I just have to make maybe 2 or 3 smoke animation, and I can just reuse them multiple times throughout the entire episode. That's the beauty about a series. When you start a series, the first episode usually takes the longest, but the more episodes you do, the more reuse, especially if it's in one location. You can reuse, you end up being able to reuse more stuff, and they get easier and cheaper to make. Okay, so I think I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna have some white ones and then some black ones. And then the sky. I think I'm gonna work on the sky first, just so I can have a better idea of what the atmosphere is. Call this background 2. If I go with the red and green tend to go well together. But like orange, fire, everything's on fire. Okay. Oh dang. I shouldn't have used opacity. I should have just used the actual color. It's fine. We'll fix that now. Okay, that works. And I think we're gonna add one more, like a gradient, because it just, I don't know, something doesn't look right. I want to separate the layers. There we go. Well, I think that's it, guys. I think I'm comfortable with the way it looks right now. I'm happy with it. And yeah, I think a whole lot better than what I originally had. And I'm gonna move forward with this. And tomorrow I'm gonna have a new background. So join me live tomorrow. I think towards maybe 4 o'clock Western or Pacific. I'll be starting a live stream because in the morning I have to do some stuff. But thanks so much for joining. Thanks so much for watching. And please like, subscribe, share with anyone that you know might be interested in this. This is a 30-day challenge to finish an entire episode. I'm gonna have it uploaded on the YouTube. So thanks so much. And with that, have a good night. Peace.